Babes, welcome back to our channel. My name's Chastity.
And my name's Hannah.
And today we're going to be giving you our June reading wrap-up.
So, fun fact, I filmed and edited my May reading wrap-up from last month, and I didn't upload it. So I'm just going to include quickly the 3 books that I read in the month of May. So the first book that I read in the month of May was The Wives by Taryn Fisher. Did you read that in May too? Or did you read
I did.
Okay.
I read that in May.
Yeah. I'm not going to say too much about that once again, just because I'm trying to make this quick, and also because it doesn't come out for quite a few months until December. So we're going to do a whole video about it closer to when it comes out, but it was real great. The second book that I read in the month of May was Fuck Love by Taryn Fisher. Apparently I was having a very Taryn Fisher month. And the third book that I read was Did I Mention I Love You? Now, the 2 Taryn Fisher books, I rated them both 5 stars. Did I Mention I Love You? I rated 2 stars. In fact, I got about 2/3 of the way through it, and then I just skimmed the rest of it. To me, I mean, it could be because I'm too old to be reading YA now, but it was real slow for me, and it had a lot of the tropes that I've seen in a million romance novels before, so it just didn't hold my attention. I didn't really like any of the main characters, so I went ahead and put that one aside. But the 2 Taryn Fisher books I both really loved. They were both very, very different, and yeah.
That, was it Did I Mention I Love You?
Yeah.
I read the synopsis for that, and
it was painful, y'all.
did not.
The whole reason I picked it up, it didn't even sound interesting to me, to be fair, but the whole reason I picked it up is because one of my favorite booktubers, Lovely Like Laura, raves about it. So I was like, well, we typically have the same taste in books, so I wanted to pick it up and give it a try, and it was not it. It was not it.
So the first one that I read in June was Love and Madness by Leah Parker. While I really did enjoy the plot of this one, it was about a girl named Luna who doesn't really like to settle down. She's kind of the party girl, always up for an adventure. I really liked the plot and that aspect of it, and their backstory was wonderful. I had some trouble with the character development though. I feel like they could have been laid out a little bit more, and I also felt like there were a lot of scenes that just didn't need to be there. They didn't really progress the story along to where, like, at times I felt like there was almost 2 or 3 different stories happening. So overall I gave it a 3. I thought it was a good story. It had a lot of potential. It could have just been executed a little bit better.
So the first book that I read in June was See Through Heart by Amy Knight. Now, this is one that I kind of picked up on a whim. I don't even know how I heard about it, but I ended up really liking it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. This one is about a girl and a boy whose names I obviously don't remember in typical Hannah fashion, but they actually meet as children when he moves in next door to her, and she lives with her mom and her cousin. And the story is really cool because it goes back and forth between present day and, I don't want to say it goes back and forth. Like, it starts when she's little, and then it fast forwards a few years, and it fast forwards a few more years, and you kind of get to follow these characters from when they're, I think it starts off when they're 11, all the way up until they're adults. So I don't want to say too much about it without spoiling it, but a huge trigger warning: if you're like set off by like drug addiction, I would maybe skip this one because it's a huge aspect of the book. But it was really great. You need to read it.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that one before. That sounds really good. Okay, so the next one that I read in June was Tiny Drops by Dusti Dawn Rose. This book was phenomenal. This was about a character who gets diagnosed with diabetes at a young age. She's in her teenage years. I can't remember exactly what age she is when she's diagnosed, but she has diabetes, and her neighbor, who's an older man, also has it. And it's pretty much, it's a beautiful story. It has a wonderful plot, but just raising awareness on diabetes and what people go through with that disease. I really, really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 5 out of 5. This is a debut from Dusti Dawn Rose, and I think her writing is phenomenal, and everyone should check her out.
So the next book I read in June was Fuck Marriage by Taryn Fisher. Now, she's reading this, she hasn't finished it, so there's only so much I can say about it. But this was one of my favorites by her. I actually preferred it to Fuck Love. It wasn't a sequel or anything, so it's not like it's like, yeah, I Loved it. Now, as I was reading through the reviews, people were real upset by like the second half of the book for whatever reason. I thought it was good. I mean, it was certainly, it had a different feel, but I feel like all of Taryn Fisher's books tend to have a different feel in the end than they do in the beginning, because they're about characters that are based on real people, and real people change and have different experiences. I really loved it. It was about a girl who gets divorced and like moves away from New York for 2 years, and then she decides to come back to basically try to win her ex-husband back who cheated on her. But obviously when she comes back, she realizes a lot of things about herself and a lot of things about her marriage. And it's kind of cool because it jumps back and forth, and you kind of get to see them while they were married and see kind of how everything unfolded and how their marriage kind of ended. And Satcher, we love Satcher. He's one of my favorite characters that Taryn has ever written, because I think he's so complex, and I think he's so different from any of the other characters that I've ever read before in a romance novel. So yeah, I rated this one 5 out of 5 stars. Really, really recommend.
Okay, so the third book that I finished in June was After Ever Happy by Anna Todd. I honestly have to say this was my favorite one out of the series. There was so much character development. It was all wrapped up in a nice little package, and I'm still not sure how I feel about that nice little package that it was wrapped up in, but I definitely think that I'm satisfied with the way that
I told her, I was like, you need to read it, it's my favorite.
Yeah, I definitely want to say that that one's my favorite. I gave it 5 out of 5.
So the next book we actually both finished in June, and so we're just going to talk about it both at the same time, and it was the Rules of Birkin by Tracy Finlay. Now, I actually read this one in less than 24 hours because she finished it, and I was like, and I like looked through her review, and then I looked through the synopsis, and I was like, okay, wait, that sounds really good. So I picked it up, and then I couldn't put it down.
It's so good.
Yeah, it starts out with these two siblings, a brother and a sister, and they have this game that they made up when they were a kid called Birkin, which is basically like hide and seek on crack. Where it's 3 rounds where he counts to 10, and she has to run out into the woods. They live in like this like real wooded area in Michigan. She has to run out into the woods, and then he has to go find her. And once he finds her, she has another 10 seconds to hide. He finds her again. She has another 10 seconds to hide. He finds her again, and then the game's over. Well, basically, they play this game. They play the 3 rounds for old time's sake. They're adults now. And then after the 3rd round, he said, okay, I'm giving you one more chance to win, but this time if I find you, I'm going to kill you. And that's literally the first chapter. And then the rest of the book is her, A, running from him, and B, looking back on their childhood and their lives and seeing where things went wrong and where he kind of fell off his rocker.
Right, where things kind of start to unravel, and she starts realizing more things about herself and all the members of her family.
Yes.
I just want to say this is also a debut, and it's a phenomenal debut. The writing is beautiful. It's her imagery and details.
Yes, the way she describes the scenes are incredible.
Just amazing. I was blown away.
In this book, like this is one of the few ones that I've read before that had me like looking over my shoulder. It was real creepy.
So creepy. My heart was racing.
Yes.
And like
there were times I had to like put the book down, like go and walk away for a second, because like I needed to like go take a pill. Like my anxiety was like on overdrive.
Yeah. But it was so good.
Yeah, I rated this one 5 out of 5.
Me too.
Yeah.
It was so beautifully crafted. Wonderful story, wonderful backstory.
Yes.
Just the
and
writing.
You're gonna freak out if you read it. You're gonna freak out and be like, "Why is this girl doing this and not this?" But it all makes sense at the end, because you realize how complex the relationship is between those siblings, and how, they both. Well, I don't want to say they both really care for each other, but there's,
in a weird way, I guess they kind of do.
Yeah, it's so weird. It was only ever them, so it's just they have this really complex relationship that nobody understands. So
the last book I read in June was Sweet Little Thing by Abby Glines. I enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars because for 2 reasons. One, I thought the characters and the actual story were very close to Fallen Too Far with Rush and Blair.
I totally see that too, but I had read this one before I had read Fallen Too Far. So,
Yeah.
but now that she mentioned it, I totally see it.
But, okay, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, I still enjoyed the story. I still wanted to know what was going to happen. I had some feelings that I was going to anticipate the ending.
And then you didn't.
I didn't. And
I don't think anybody
4
could have
stars
anticipated the ending.
Another reason why was the ending. I left this book reeling. Very, very angry. Just so angry. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to read the next one. Although I'm just angry.
You're gonna feel much better about the ending once you read the rest of the series.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because it's not Abby's writing or anything like that. I love Abby Glines.
You were just pissed.
I was just pissed.
Yeah.
I was so angry. I'm still so angry. I was just telling my sister how angry I am.
So that is it for today's video. We hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.